Hello and welcome back to Payday 2 101 with your host as always, Mah-Dry-Bread. Today we're going on to the General Technician build. Just like the other ones that you can see in the playlist linked below in the description, these are all meant for leveling. So they will have things like Fast Learner in them, as you can see right there. This is recommended for difficulties Overkill and lower. It's not really that fantastic for Death Wish. So, if you want to try out the Technician on your first time through the game, or even you just want to go Infamy and want to level up some more, this might be a good build for you. Before we get into the Technician bit itself, we'll go over the other trees. Like usual, we're going to be acing Endurance, Cable Guy, and Fast Learner. I go over that in each one of these general videos, of course. We are going to take Leadership Aced to increase your weapon stability by 50%, also applies to the whole crew, very nice one, although it's common for someone on the team to have it. This will stack very nicely with a lot of your bonuses as a Technician. You'll notice we have Dominator here. This is because at the end of this whole tree, you'll have a little bit of extra skill points and not much to do with it. This is just where I happen to put the point. Over at Enforcer, we've aced Transporter, which everyone should have, and aced Diehard to improve your armor. I'll go into why on that one later, other than, of course, armor recovery rate is important. In Ghost, we have the whole Ghost opener that I've explained many times over, and we've also added SMG Specialist aced. That's because Technician is the only tree that does not have a secondary weapon specialization. So people tend to pick up SMG Specialist because it's right there, and it only requires 4 points total to max. Finally on to Technician. So we start things off, we get our C4, we get our Nerves of Steel aced, so we have our Steel Sight and Bleed Out, and we take half damage while interacting with things, which we will be interacting with a lot. Demolition Man Basic gives you an extra Trip Mine. This is great for 1 point. Some people ace it. I find acing it to be a massive waste of skill points because that requires 3 more skill points just to place them a little bit faster. Not worth it. Rifleman aced. Snap to zoom is how quickly you get into your actual scope or sight, or iron sight, when right-clicking with an assault rifle or a sniper rifle. This is very, very useful actually to have basics, 1 skill point for double the speed. You'll notice a big difference. The zoom level on ace. Some people call this one hit or miss, kind of a double-edged sword, because it does hurt some of your peripheral vision. However, I think it's very much worth it. You zoom in a little bit more with any kind of rifle. Speaking of any kind of rifle, Sharpshooter aced. 20% more accurate with single-shot weapons. This is shotguns, snipers, pistols, stuff like that. And weapon stability increased with all rifles by 25%. That stacks with leadership, so you now have 75% more stability, actually 80, because of this tier bonus here. So, huge stability increase in your weapons. Combat Engineer aced. This one's an underrated one that not a lot of people utilize when they really should. What it does is, once aced, your trip mines will have 2 modes, red laser and green laser. Red laser is normal, just it blows up when an enemy walks through the trip mine. Green laser is the entire party will hear a beep come from that direction whenever an enemy walks through. You can use this to cover areas that you aren't looking at, and you'll know when enemies are coming by, so you know to go pay attention to it. It also allows you to put it on the green laser so that you can manually shoot the trip mine to use it as a bomb to kill a room full of enemies rather than it just blowing up at the first enemy it sees, which often means it'll only kill 1 or 2 enemies rather than a whole room. Going into the drill perks here, we have Hardware Expert aced, so you fix the drill 25% faster and deploy trip mines faster. That itself is not that amazing, but aced, 30% chance to auto-restart the drill when it breaks down. That's really nice. Drill Sergeant is major. When aced, you have a total of 30% more drilling efficiency, which means it requires 30% less time to drill. This is incredibly handy to have at least 1 guy in the party with this. We have Basic Silent Drilling. It makes 65% less noise. Fun fact, a lot of people ace this. Absolute massive waste of skill points to ace. Absolutely never ace this. One of the worst things to ace in the game, because it's an extra 8 skill points to make it completely silent. And there is not a single place in the entire game, even with the new missions like Big Bank, in which a perfectly silent drill will not attract someone to the drill when a basic silent drill would. So basically, do basic, because there's no difference between basic and aced because of the drill positions in the actual game. So keep that one in mind. If they're close enough to hear it on basic, they're close enough to see it too. So there you go. Blast Radius Aced. This one is very underrated. When aced, it has double the blast radius. If you use these as manual trip mines where you're shooting them, kind of like, I don't know, C4. If you're manually shooting them to do it and not just letting them be tripped off by red laser, this is incredible. You can clear an entire room of enemies by doing this. Shape Charges. Basic adds 3 more trip mines, so this will be double if you took Demolition Man. And on aced, you can turn them into Shape Charges or C4 to breach safes and doors. This is incredibly, incredibly useful on tons of stages, and the entire team will love you simply for having Shape Charges. It speeds up many missions. Shockproof Aced. Now this is one that doesn't necessarily need to be aced, however I find it very useful to be aced. On basic, when you get shocked, it says it'll backfire, knocking back the taser. What it means is after about 3 seconds of being tased, so you've been tased for a decent amount of time, you'll be let out of the tasing for a short amount of time, a second or two. You're meant to use this time to either start shooting the taser or to run to cover. It's much more useful, however, on aced, when if you interact with the enemy while they're tasing you, that is to say, look at them, highlight them, and hit F, your interact button. Click F, and you'll take 2 exposed wires, put them together, and the taser will get tased back, losing half of their health and actually falling over, giving you plenty of time to finish them off. It really does make you almost shock-proof. You're only tased for about 1 second before you take out the taser. And lastly, we have Bulletproofed Ace. This is one of the best skills in the entire game. First of all, basic, 50% more armor. That is amazing. And aced, the entire crew gets an extra 25% recovery rate on their armor. Between this and the Enforcer's Die Hard aced, you'll have the fastest armor recovery rate in the game, because that also stacks with your tier bonus of armor and armor recovery rate for 10. So grand total, it's, 50? We got 25, and then 35, yeah, 50. 50% faster armor recovery rate. That is a huge, huge deal. You're spending far less time sitting in cover waiting for your armor to come back, and far more time fighting and killing enemies, keeping you from getting swarmed. This is a skill that I would recommend any team has at least one guy with aced bulletproof, because it does help the entire crew a massive amount. Onto the loadout. First up, the golden standard of loud primaries, and I'm sure this won't surprise you, the Car 4. I'll scroll through these real quick, but if you want in-depth on this, go check out the general Mastermind build. But it's my top recommended one for any given loud shootout is, of course, the loud Car 4 with all of these mods that I just showed there. You can pause and check it if you'd like to. This is even better for the Technician, actually. This is the best Technician, or rather, the best class for the Car 4 is the Technician, because the extra headshot damage you do means that this Car 4 now hits an extra damage threshold, which means more enemies that you can one-shot or two-shot when you would need to three-shot them, especially with tan police officers, the special ops. So this is actually a weapon for the Technician that I would say is even Death Wish quality. Next up here, and this is the first time I've recommended one of these, is the Rattlesnake, the weakest of the 3 sniper rifles. Because you're a Technician, you have extra headshot bonus, I highly recommend checking out the sniper rifles. The Rattlesnake, although the weakest, is actually quite good. It's by far the best one on ammunition, having about 63 shots, rather than 30 or 15. And here are the gadgets I have for them. The long barrel to increase accuracy. No sniper suppressor, although you could have that on an extra one. I like the angled sight, so that you can tilt the gun in case the enemy gets too close. For sight, of course, the unique sniper sight that will tag enemies for you as you hover over them. And I don't like the aluminium body because all that does is help with concealment, and this is already an instant 75 weapon, unless you do some serious modifications to it. Even then, it's still a massive weapon. This one I'd only recommend if you can reliably get headshots, however it is a very reliable weapon and a very high damage weapon. Onto the loud secondaries, we have the Cobus 90, or that really colorful assault rifle from GoldenEye 64. I love this gun. It's a fantastic, fantastic submachine gun, and with your extra bonuses to reload speed and shooting speed on submachine guns, this should do you well. This is a straight upgrade from the old para submachine gun that everyone used to use. So we've got the long barrel on this for accuracy, stability, and damage. We have a fire breather nozzle. This gives you a lot of damage for no drawback, other than concealment, which isn't a problem for you. This is a loud build. We have auto fire on it because you're never going to be using single shot. The extra damage is nice. I don't have any gadget on it, entirely because the military laser module gets in the way of your peripheral vision on this gun. I actually kind of recommend you don't use it. The compact laser I have not tested to see if it gets in the way, but you don't really need it. It's an SMG, it's got 2 clips. You're not going to be using it much. It's for if things get very close. And speculator sight, because it is my sight of choice, and it should be yours too, with how great it is. This is mostly a gun you'll pull out for if you need to clear a room very, very fast. You'll just unload a full clip. You only have 2 clips worth, so be careful with it. But it's a clearing weapon. Nothing more, nothing less, most of the time you're using the Car for. On to stealth guns, with primary we have, of course, the Stealth Car 4. Same one as I showed all of the other times. It's up to you if you use the short barrel or the stealth barrel. In fact, I recommend making one of each depending on your situation. Short barrel for if you want a backup gun in case you mess up stealth and have to do a shootout. And stealth barrel for if you're either running a silent killer build, or if you simply need a long-ranged weapon that is quite accurate for killing silently. Pairs very well with the locomotive with the silent killer on it. We of course have the Gruber Kurtz for overkill and less on stealth, with the size doesn't matter. Laser grip, and that's it. Although you can put a pocket laser on it and probably get away with that. I personally didn't, because I'd rather be more concealed. This is strong enough that a headshot will kill guards on overkill and lower, but on Death Wish, it doesn't quite cut it. On Death Wish, you'll want to pick the Monolith Suppressor Signature 40, with the mods that I've shown in every one of these videos. And again, for some reason, Extended Mag doesn't increase concealment. It bugs me, honestly, that it doesn't increase concealment, but it doesn't increase concealment. That's it for this video on my general technician build. The next episode of Payday 2 101 will be the final general build video with the Ghost. If you're interested in this series and would like to watch more, a link to the playlist will both be on screen as well as in the description. This series will be ever updating as new patches change old mechanics, so I'll keep you guys updated. If you're looking for some teammates to play the game with, why not join my Steam group linked in the description. And if you want to keep up with me, I've got my Facebook fan page and Twitter down there as well. Feel free to request I talk about anything in the game that you'd like if I haven't already mentioned it in a video on the playlist, and I look forward to seeing everyone's feedback. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.